She's an icon in the world of transgenders. Lauren Foster overcame obstacles you might never imagine. And before this new wave of what she calls a trans tipping point you might never have asked about. She calls the emergence of Caitlyn Jenner as a woman brave, but says it's brought some attention that's mixed with consequences still unknown. In a most personal one-on-one with me, Foster takes us into a changing world, a transgender evolution in which she has a most unique view.
I remember waking up out of the anesthesia, and I was, of course, heavily bandaged, and I reached down between my legs, and I could feel what was, what wasn't there. And I started crying. Good crying, like happy crying.
And you had no doubt?
None.
She was just 18, and for Lauren Foster, born a baby boy who was nicknamed Blue, the decision to surgically transition into being a woman was life-affirming and life-saving. And you felt at peace?
I felt completely, from then onwards, I never turned back.
The first transgender model featured in Vogue magazine is embraced globally as a pioneer. But decades after her secret was revealed, she's facing a day and time she never thought would happen.
I always wanted my children to be so proud of their dad.
Caitlyn Jenner is a champion for sure. I mean, she is probably the most famous transgender person alive now.
Isn't that amazing?
Sure. For sure, and it happened within three months.
A seismic shift in the world Foster knows better than most, thanks to the evolution of Bruce into Caitlyn.
It's the tipping point, the trans tipping point. The spotlight has changed the geography of the whole trans community. Some for good, some for bad. At tough times, we're under a lot of scrutiny. I feel like I'm in a big spotlight.
Foster is no stranger to the public eye or adversity. As her modeling career skyrocketed, the cameraman and the world thought she was just another girl. But then a photographer sold her secret. She powered on, and decades later shares with me a personal view from inside an evolving moment that gives her pause today on Caitlyn Jenner's evolution.
She doesn't speak for me, for instance, because I fully medically transitioned, and I have a commitment to my gender. I committed to being a woman, and being a woman means being fully a woman.
Questions remain on whether Jenner was surgically transitioned as Foster did. She says for some in the trans world, it's an important decision. The spotlight is often focused on Jenner's looks, wardrobe, makeup. Are those the critical issues for someone who's transgender?
All that gloss and fabulousness kind of disguises the struggles that the trans community, especially trans women of color, who make up a majority of this community, and it kind of glosses over it, and I think that's where the anger comes from. And it's not all Versace gowns and Annie Leibovitz shoot. We want to get away from glamorizing it. We want to get down to the nitty-gritty of the trans community. That just yesterday a trans woman was murdered, and that needs to stop.
Sometimes when you see all those eyes on you now, what do you think?
Well, I think people look at me differently now because they think, oh, she's trans, Before they never did that.
At this critical time, Foster's launched an informational website, Just Another Girl, to help others navigate a world fraught with vulnerabilities, stigma, bullying, and promise. An art aficionado, she brings together the world of art and fashion to raise funds for vulnerable youth, all youth.
And I find that so rewarding.
She's about helping others be comfortable, not just in their shoes, but in their skin.
Let's hope that it's all going to go in the right direction, and that's up, I think it's a good time. It's a good time. It's, pursuit of happiness, right behind me.
And everyone's road to get there is different. There are many in the trans community who feel the issue of surgery is not relevant or critical and embrace Jenner as a voice for the trans community, no matter what steps she takes or does not take. Perhaps this is a transgender evolution, and the conversation continues. Michelle Gillen, CBS 4 News.